Hi, so today we're going to have a look at tables, and this will lead on naturally to pivot tables, although that's going to be in a separate video. So you may have been sent, hopefully you've been sent a document called blank table, and I've got it in front of me. And this is really where we're starting to get into the world of more realistic size of, amounts of data. It's a very large, it's not incredibly large, but it's like, there's 439 rows of data here. Not too many columns. I'm going to use Control and the up arrow. So this is also where keyboard shortcuts really start coming in really good. So on a Mac, I'm using the Command key, which I'm actually on a Mac at the moment, but I'll talk mainly in terms of PC keys. So if I do Control and down arrow, it will jump me to the end of the term is contiguous. It means continually the same. So it jumped me down until the data changed. So look, like text, and then where it stopped here. Okay. If I was to do Control down again or Command down on the Mac, then it jumps me down to the bottom of a spreadsheet, which is like a million rows down here. Okay. I'm going to do Control up. Okay. And I can do Control right to jump to the right, and Control left to jump to the left, etc. So this format as table. So what we're looking at here. So I'm on the home ribbon. Okay. And I've got this format as table button. Now there is one slight difference between the Mac and the PC. It's just the wording. So this will say format as table, and basically you press this button, and notice that I'm somewhere inside my data. Okay. And I'm going to format as table, and I'm going to just choose a color scheme I like. I quite like these blue ones actually, so I'm going to choose that. And the only question it asks, so it always guesses correctly where my data is because I was inside it when I clicked. So it knows it starts at A1 and it goes all the way down to row 439 and column P, so that's good. And there's a tick box here, which is on by default, which is my table has headers. And headers are just the names at the top of the columns, like category and product name, etc. So if your table, and it probably should have headers really for you to get the most out of this. I'm just going to press OK. Let's see what happens. So, quite nice. Click of a button. What's it done? It's actually done a lot of things for us. This is something I love showing people because you get a good amount of value for money with one click. Now here's the slight difference, just so you don't get confused. On a PC, this will say table design, okay? But all of the options are the same. I've got dark mode turned on here because I'm cool. Yeah, on a PC it will say table design, and it may or may not be dark. But you still got, and I'm going to talk through what these different buttons do. So let's just see what's it given us for free. Well, for free. So it's turned on filters. Filters are obviously useful. Filters allow us to say, okay, I just want, and this was an American spreadsheet, so it's a bit Americanized, but let me just look at some candy. Okay, so here are all of the candy sales that this company has done, okay, for example. So you get filters turned on. Here's a little tip for you, by the way. Sometimes you've got a filtered spreadsheet. If you look at these little down arrows, okay, you can see the ones that have got the filter turned on because they've got this little funnel icon that has been added to them. Okay, so it's just a nice way of knowing which one to turn back on to be able to see your full set of data again. So that's nice. It's also banded the rows. So each row here now has its own band, and that's purely so that the eye follows along. If I'm down here on row 95 and I want to look at Nancy's sales, we can see that it just because they alternate the colors, it just helps keep them. Now you can, if you wanted to, is ban the columns. Some people find a use for this. I personally don't, but it's nice to know that you can do it. It's nice to know you can turn off the banded row. You can turn them both on, but you may be arrested. It is actually against the law to have both of these on at the same time. So I'm going to just stick with the banded rows because I quite like those. We've talked about the filter button. Look at this, header row. So this is nice. So there is something known as freeze panes, which I don't think I've made a video on yet. But freeze panes basically allows you to freeze a portion of the spreadsheet so you can see it all the time. Having this header row turned on, watch what happens. So you can see here at the moment, row 1 is our names, our header names. which was the one question it asked when we created this spreadsheet. As I scroll down, look at that. It embeds the names of the, it embeds the header names. They're just there, just floating all the time, so that we can always see what our columns refer to. Really nice, really nice. And again, you can turn that off. You can bold out the first column and the last column should you wish. Don't ever find a use for that personally. But the thing I do find it useful is this total row. So look, I've turned it on. It's already jumped me down here. Fantastic. So watch this. So here we've got two columns here with some numbers in. We've got our costs and our sales. Well, I wonder what the sum, I wonder what all of our sales added up comes to. So I'm going to click on here. So I've turned on this total row. I put a tick box in here, and look, I get a little drop down arrow appear in the total row. It's got the word total here, and look, I can just pick. I can pick what formula I'd like it to do. I'm going to just say sum. Now, what do these hashes mean? Hopefully you know. That just means everything's fine, but the column is not wide enough to show me the answer. So I'm just going to double click on the divider line up here, and now we can see, look, instantly. I wonder what my average cost of sale was. So I can just choose average here. Yeah, isn't that great? Okay. We've got other things like, you know, maybe you could do count. You could do counts on things if it was alpha, not numeric. I think that's the right word. So okay, yeah, so that's good. So let me show you a couple of other things. Let me insert a new column here. I'm going to just jump up to the top. I'll just do Control up. And I'm going to insert a column, okay, and I'm going to call it profit, and it's a very crude measurement of profit. Forgive me if anybody here is accountants, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, well, look, I'm going to take the sales, okay, and I'm going to subtract from it the cost, and we're going to call that the profit, okay. So we've got 6,900 here, take away 2,000, that's roughly 7, so we're going to get something like £5,000 profit. You know, probably 4,850 or something like that. Let's see. So, but watch what happens, because it does it a little bit peculiarly. But if you just bear with me, you'll like this. So I'm going to say equals to start off that it's a formula. I'm going to say we'll take this cell here and watch how it writes it. So I just clicked on I2, but it's put at sales. Let's just plow on, and I'm going to say, okay, well, I'm going to minus the cost of the sale. I'm going to click on H2. And again, it's written in an odd format that we're not used to. But watch what happens when I press enter. It does the whole column. Okay, it works it out, and that's what that actual funny symbolism was meaning. It was meaning this is going to actually apply this to the entire column. So, you know, we write one formula and we don't even have to double click to copy it down. So that's really, really nice. That's probably about as much as I wanted to show you. The last thing maybe is if you give it to somebody what can be useful is just to apply this formatting, turn on some things, and then convert it, take it out of it being a table again. Because, you know, if somebody else was working on it, they might be a little bit confused about, you know, about this sort of formatting and things like that, and this way of writing a formula. So what you can actually do is that you've got a button here. So I'm under table or table design on a PC, and it's got convert to range. And so if I press convert to range, I get a warning dialog box pop up. I say yes. Now it took off the filters, but what it's actually done is it's just turned this completely back into a normal document. Okay, it's kept my formulas that we had written. Okay, and they're actually subtotal formulas. The nice thing about using subtotal is subtotal carries on working once you've filtered something. So subtotal is actually a really, really nice, really the correct formula to use in that situation. So there we go. That is, just to reiterate one more time, you click somewhere in your data, you go to Format as Table. I don't know quite what will happen if I pick another color. I'll try it. I'm going to just click the color. Again, it's identified. It's asked me if it's got headers. I'm going to say OK. Yeah, it didn't really like that. I think because I've already applied different colors to it. So there we go. But it has turned it back into a table again. Okay, so that's the process. The process is from the home ribbon, click on it, format as table, pick the color option you want, and you get all those benefits for free.